So how are you finding these properties? Like, where are you looking? Where are you searching
Yeah.
to find these properties? What properties are you looking for?
Mhm.
Are you doing single, multifamily homes? Is it just, what is it? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
for sure.
figure out.
So, really what it comes down to, though, is doing the research. It's going to be different in every market. Um,
Hmm.
what I do specifically is I use a service called Air DNA, D as in dog, DNA.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, with that service, you can see which which listings are doing the best. It gives you like transparency into the entire zip code or entire city, and you can look at revenue per listing. Like, what is the 50 percentile revenue numbers? What are the 75th percentile revenue numbers? 95th? What are the top properties? It gives you everything you need. It's like a literally, it's like a you can see the revenue. It really just tells you, hey, this is what's working, right? So
Hmm.
that's how you find the patterns. That's how you find the properties that are working with that service AirDNA.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And then, so after you find the properties, do you just call the landlord, and just, obviously say the pitch that you just gave me? That's what you tell the landlord over the phone. Or you do
Yeah.
recommend saying
So,
it in
it,
person?
yeah, for sure. Like, I'm trying to fit as much information as I can into this talk. I do have a course. It's like an 8-week course, and it's like hours of this basically we're doing now.
Yeah.
So there are details, but I'm trying to give you as much as I can in this amount of time that we have. So what I do specifically is I don't tell them. So I'll schedule the showing just like any other tenant would,
Hmm.
right? I don't tell them like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to host on Airbnb because that's going to turn them off right away, right? You have to like first build rapport with them and kind of show them like you're a professional, so that when you do bring up the topic about, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing, like, are we a good fit for each other? They kind of understand you. They already like you, and they're much more open to the idea. So really, what I do is I'm like, hey, I'm interested in your property. When can we set up a time to see it? Or can I see it at this time during this day? I try
Okay.
to just catch all of my showings at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, and then from there, you go and you see it, and you do the talk or whatever. Normally, the first like 5-10 minutes, I'm just like looking at the property, asking questions like, okay, how is the parking situation? This, that, or the other thing. Just again, just kind of building that connection. I'm looking at it like a regular person would, and then I go into the, hey, let's see if we're a good fit for each other because I'm not your regular tenant. That's how I
Hmm.
transition.
Right.
I always frame it like, are we a good fit? Not like, hey,
Mhm.
I really want to, rent your property. Please let
Yeah.
me rent from you. It's like, hey, this is what I do. I have a good service. Are you interested?
Right. Right. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah,
So I didn't know you had a course because I saw Dale said you didn't have a course. I was like, wait, what? So you got a course? That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. We do live coaching. So you can like say, hey, Mike, what do you think about this property? What do you think about, hey, I'm looking at this zip code, this, that, and the other thing. And I can like
Mhm.
actually vet, step by step. It's like you get basically get coaching on an ongoing basis.
Right.
Um,
Instead of just trying to do this on my own,
Yeah, so I
going
mean,
back into
it's
it.
helpful. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'd be
No,
happy to give you
dude, I do
advice.
exactly what you do on an everyday babasis. You ain't selling me, man.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Trust
I'm
me.
just trying. Like
I'm
I said, I'm just
interested.
trying to give you.
I want what you have. So I'm
Yeah,
interested
for sure.
in, how much this costs.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Is it 8 week, like, is it timed by 8 weeks, or is it just like 8 weeks as you go?
Yeah,
Or is it
it's
multi-retainer? Like, how
no,
does
no, no. It's maybe it'd be useful for you to check out some of the webinar, but I'll try. I don't want to make it sound too simple, but let me package it up real quick. Basically, it's an 8-week course, right? So you learn everything you need to know from
Mm-hmm.
start to finish. In terms of, all right, how do you do the AirDNA analysis? Like the first week is finding the profitable properties on AirDNA. So I show you like, hey, this is how you do it. This is what you look for. And there's a little exercise where it says, hey, this is how we identify the exact patterns, the models that we're looking for. And once you identify that, you know exactly what to do next, right?
Right.
Next step, we start looking at trying to find properties. So we're talking to landlords. I show how I look for properties. So I use different websites like Zillow. I use like Hotpads,
Mm-hmm.
kind of go through the way I filter out things and I
Mm-hmm.
look for different. So there's a little bit of process there, a lot of details, but yeah, essentially I'm looking for owners specifically. I talk about this. I'm not trying to work with property management companies. Realtors are kind of okay, but generally it's like the owners are the ones who are the decision makers.
I don't
That's
want to mess with realtors.
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
don't.
So you're
No.
always,
Mm-mm.
so I kind of show only that's
Okay.
about the owner.
Yeah.
Getting some and strategies
Mm-hmm.
from there. So I think the most one of the most important parts, but you really want to make sure you captivate people right? How do you make it really attractive? And then there's some additional trainings where I show like stuff, so you can see kind of how one of my other trainers started. It took them 6 weeks to get their first property, and after they launched, they made 14K, or like 14.5K, dude. It was crazy.
Wait,
it was
what?
so freaking sick. Yeah,
Wait,
and
what?
I have like a text of it. It's in the webinar. I have like a text where like, bro, this is amazing. I was like, yes. So it was
How
cool.
the hell? That is crazy.
Yeah, dude. So again, my core philosophy of this whole thing is like, there are people that go and try to get like 100 Airbnbs, which is cool. Like, you can scale it up. But my thing is like, I'd rather get a few really, really
Yes.
high quality ones,
And
So
make the
I'm
most
always
off
looking.
that and capitalize, right?
Yeah, dude. So that's what my whole thing comes down to. Like, that's why I
Love
focus so much on the AirDNA analysis, because like the properties that I invest in, I normally get 3 to 4 times the cost of the rent. So if let's say the rent is 3,200,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll make 10 grand to 12 grand on that property.
Each
Right.
month.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it fluctuates. Like sometimes it could be 9, sometimes it could be 13,
Yeah, right.
right? But like the average is around like 10, 11, 12.
So you have to be pretty booked out though every month for that, correct?
Well, it really there are a few things.
Right.
And the next module is all about pricing and search rank optimization.
Gotcha. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a few key things that matter.
Mhm.
And that's all about like, how can you be the number one in search?
Mhm.
And there are like a couple dozen little tweaks you need to make to your listing that will put you higher in search rank. So I go through all of them. I could tell you them now, but it probably won't make sense to you. Like I'll just give you some tips. Like the minimum night stay. You want to be able to make sure you're setting your minimum night stays to be competitive. So some people put their minimum night stay like 3 days. It's always a 3-day minimum night stay. And like, that's not going to get you the best search rank. What I do is I have like a dynamic stay. So if it's this month, I'll put like a 1-night minimum stay for the weekdays, 2-night minimum stays for Fridays and Saturdays. Next month, I'll have like a 1-night minimum stay for the weekdays, 3-night minimum stays for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The month after that, I have to do 3-night minimums for the entire month. So like, it's dynamic, but the point is like, I'm playing the game so I can get the best, the highest.
I got you. I got you. I love it, man. Awesome.
Yeah, dude. So that's part of it. There's a dozen little factors that you need for search rank, but I've always been like, I'm always at like very, very high in search rank. That's basically what I focused on, because I realized if I can model success and I can get high in the search rank, then like I'm golden, So
did it
really,
take you a while to get up there when you were just first starting out? It didn't take you long at all.
Nope. Wow. Because one of the things that I do is, the cool thing about Airbnb is once you start, the very first like 2 weeks, they give you this grace period where they put you at the top of the listing. And then from there, they're testing you. How well do people like your listing? Much traction? Wow. Yeah. So what you have to do, the way it works, as long as you do the first couple steps in the course and you model success, you find out what's working, you do all those steps, right? Then your listing is going to be positioned to be a top property. Now it's just about search rank. So what you do is, and you kind of play with the reviews. It's all about like stacking the odds in your favor when you first start and getting as many reviews as possible. So like, we play with the pricing so that basically it's like a no-brainer for people to stay at your property during that first 2-week period. We're just like loading you up. We're almost like investing, right? We're like cutting our prices down so much that people are just like booking it up. Now we have all these bookings that boost us in search rank, and it like solidifies our spot in the search rank. Does it make sense? So Airbnb sees our listing as like, oh, this is a listing that people want. So I talk about how to do that, and I talk about how you even just get your friends like to stay during the first couple of nights. Get your first like 3 to 5 reviews, and then you're golden. People like, that's the hardest part, So you just load up in the beginning, and you're good to go. So I talk about that. That's how you get up there right away. That's why like the first month I started, I was able to do like $8,000 like right away, because on a property.
How much did you invest to get that $8,000?
Yeah, so that property cost $2,600 per month.
2,600.
So I did good. I mean, obviously, like the first couple months, you have to see, the thing though. You have to have an investor's mindset, because the first month that you go into it, you're gonna think, oh shit, I just spent a lot of money, because you have to. Like the one of my other students are like, bro, I feel like we just spent a lot of money. I'm like, all right, hold on, tell me what you spent. He's like, well, we put down the first month's rent. He's like, we had to put down the last month's rent, which isn't always normal, but I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. And then he's like, we had to put down security, and we furnished it as well. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a lot of money. Let's talk about this. First month's rent. You're going to get that back literally the first month, because you're going to be hosting guests. You're going to make a profit the first. Okay. Last month's rent. Well, that doesn't like, you're going to get that back obviously at the end of the year when you're hosting guests.
Right.
Security, you get that back. It's like none of this is money that you lost. It's just the delayed money. And then he's like, but yeah, but the furniture. I'm like, dude, you can either continue to use that. That's an asset. Like
Right.
the only thing you're paying for is the depreciation of the furniture.
Yes.
So if you were to sell that furniture back, you could sell it for 50%, whatever. So like literally all of it you get back. It's just that last month, or sorry, it's just the depreciation of the furniture that you have to. But people don't really think like that, right? It's like,
No,
oh, I
they
just
don't think
spend this.
about the return. You know?
Yeah.
They don't
So
think about the long term of it.
yeah, and you got to consider like you're investing this money that you'll get back,
Yeah.
and it's a reoccurring revenue. Like that's the thing
Right.
that's nice about this business. That you set it up once, it's a pain in the ass to get set up. It takes like maybe 2 or 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and you gotta. I
Hey,
mean,
that's fine with me, man. Nothing happens overnight.
yeah, dude. It's like because you gotta. I also talk a lot about it in the course,
Mhm.
so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Or you can hire people too, one thing you can do actually is you can just buy all the furniture at the stores and then hire someone just to get all of it and move it to the property, so you don't have to worry about moving it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
another little hack. So yeah, but you just do the first couple weeks, get it set up, and then it's recurring, dude. So then like it's pretty sick. You
So
know?
like basically when you're saying like the furniture, so most of these properties they do not come included with the furniture. If like I guess you have to provide that yourself, correct?
Well, you can get properties that are furnished.
Right.
There's ways to search for those.
Have you gotten those before?
No, because again, my whole mentality is like I want to go for the premium property. So
Ah.
normally, like the gold, like the gems, like the ones that I know are going to have the highest ROI, they're normally not furnished. But I'm willing to take that into consideration, knowing like, yeah, I have to furnish it one time, but I'm going to make so much more on the back end. You know, I'm going to get that all back. So I don't mind doing that. I tell some people who are starting off, like, yeah, maybe it's better just to get one that's furnished, start making some profit, and then you can, now you have profit, you can get the next one or whatever, furnish the next one. But yeah, it's definitely an option. You can just go furnished,
Okay. Yeah. So what do you usually recommend? Like how much does that all cost? Like when you do furniture, like would you say average wise?
For some reason, dude, it keeps coming out like twice the amount of the rent. I don't know why that is, but for example, if the rent is $2,500, it normally will cost me like $5,000 to furnish.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like play plus or minus whatever 1,500 or something. You can get some cheaper furniture. You can go all Craigslist and just get stuff like that. You can go get new stuff. You just got to play with it. One thing I talk about is using Facebook Marketplace because it's like
that place
really
is gold.
Yeah, dude. So it's like a matter of how much you want to hustle. You could like do it for cheap and get good stuff, but you gotta hustle and you gotta do Facebook Marketplace, or you could just go and like one thing we did is we went to one of these mattress stores. It was like a furniture store, and we're like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're an Airbnb business. We're gonna come back and we're gonna furnish more places. So give us a good deal, And they're like, all right, cool. So they give us these like ridiculous deals on mattresses. And I'm like, all right, if we take that and we take this and we take this, will you make it even cheaper? They're like, all right. So we ended up like just getting so much furniture at the one place because we got a ridiculous deal. So you can negotiate too, it just comes down to how you play it.
So do you help with kind of like knowing like the places to go to negotiate, or is it kind of just like, just go and just do it?
I mean, I talk a little bit about like the general strategy. I'm assuming it's different in every city, like the different stores and stuff. So I don't give too much detail on that. I do supply a list of all the things that you need to not only furnish it, but like the supplies for the for the property. Like, hey, you're gonna need paper towels. You're gonna need dishes. You're gonna need whatever. Like there's like a list of a million things you need. There's little things for people to live in. Towels, all that. So, and then I think I even have like links on Amazon that I've used. Of course, those could change, but so it's just like, dude, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, seriously, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw something too. I saw you had like a post of like something to where. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think you had something with. What was it? You were talking something about you use this website.
Oh, Payfoley.
Yes. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so let's say I start my listing, right? And on day one, dude, this is what happened to me actually. The very first day I launched my Airbnb, like I had positioned it so well and I didn't know enough about pricing that I booked out like way too much, which at the time though, I thought I was like, this is amazing. Cause it was, I mean, I still made a shitload of money.
Yeah.
But later on I realized like, oh, I could have charged twice as much. But the point is the very first day I made like $6,000 like in bookings, right?
Wow.
Within the first 13 days, I had booked out almost $19,000 in 13 days. Like I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like that's at that moment, like my life changed because I was working at Boeing. I was an engineer trading time for money, and I'm sitting there all day, dude, getting these bookings like $500, $1,000.
Wow,
I'm like,
man.
it was like it was the craziest feeling. But the point is, I had this $19,000 that I technically wouldn't get until the guest stayed there. So like over the next 8 weeks, or whatever it was, I would get these checks coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But this service, Payfully, allows you to essentially like get that money in advance.
Oh, really?
So they'll front that. They take a percentage. I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but it's probably like 5 or less. And they'll front you that money. Yeah, I believe. I mean, again, I don't use that service because fortunately I've been able to use my capital. I know, and you check it out. Yeah, payfully.co.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna do some research on it.
Yeah, but it could be a nice like point of leverage, right? Because then you have all this cash flow that you haven't received yet. I would be smart about the way I used it, right? Like I wouldn't tap into over my expense cost or anything like that. Right. I would just like take the top of the profit out and then potentially invest that in other properties, right? If you want to expand quickly.
Yeah, I do want to expand, man. I really do. Like I want to start with at least, 2. I just want to, get 2 and then, just capitalize off that, see how that's going, and then eventually just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't like getting too much and then get over my head. And then,
absolutely.
I gotta make sure because, I know you said the handyman and the cleaning lady, you provide, how to find these people, and stuff like that. So like, how much does it usually cost you for, because obviously you have to pay these people, correct? So does that take a good bit out of what you make?
Yeah. So the one thing to note is that when so the cleaning fee is a fee that gets charged to the guest when they book, right? So and that cleaning fee, let's say for me, it's like $120 because I have like a 3-bedroom, 3 stories.
Nice stuff.
Yeah. So it's like there's this big property, right? And it takes a while to clean. So $120, I'm happy paying that. And that fee gets charged to the guests. So I only have to pay the cleaners when I'm getting paid from the guest, right? So I've set my nightly prices, right? And I know I'm always going to get that. That's like my profit. And then that cleaning fee just goes directly to cleaner. So it's kind of like an expense. You have to think of it as kind of like an expense. But at the same time, it's only an expense that you have to pay if you're getting bookings. So it's not like necessary, so it's like a little, it's not, you don't have to worry about it too much. You know what I'm saying? Because it will always be paid for.
Right.
But yeah, it depends on the size of the property. It could range probably from like 60 to 120.
Wow. Okay. That's smart, man. So you're basically just getting it paid for.
Yeah. You always get it paid for.
Smart. Okay. So it's not dipping in your profit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The other thing to consider, because you're going to be working closely with this cleaning service, you want to get a professional service. And you want to be very, very clear about your expectations.
Okay.
You want to and I kind of talk about this in the course. I tell them these are the questions I ask them. Basically, it's all along the lines of hey, I'm running a short-term rental business. You are my lifeline. If you mess up, it's going to reflect very badly on my business. So reliability is a number one thing. If you tell me you're going to be there, you need to be there, right?
Yeah,
set these expectations.
Yeah, especially if you got someone, coming in that day. And
absolutely, dude.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's kind of got me I got to find, because, I'm tough with, people, man. They can say, they'll do this and this and that. But
absolutely. So I'm hey, this is what it's going to say in the terms. If you miss a cleaning, this is the penalty, and I kind of talk about that. Yeah. So we set up ways in which basically you try to make that never going to happen. So for example, in the terms, you can say, if you miss a cleaning, I get a cleaning for free. If you arrive later than this time, I get a cleaning for free. You need to tell me every single time you arrive, text me, I've arrived, text me when you leave. And there needs to be all these things in the terms, so everybody's on the same page. Okay, we have to be there at this certain time. When we say we're going to be there, there are penalties if I'm not there. And then on the flip side of that, you're hey, if we get 5-star cleanings for the whole month, I'm going to give you a bonus. Oh. So now it's you, because
build that relationship.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's all, you don't want to just be hey, you want to, you build both, right? You got to give them both. It's all about building a relationship with the cleaners because, again, they're going to start to treat you better and better. They're going to make you priority. If for example, if I get a booking right now for tomorrow, they would be all right, we'll be there. They'll give me less than 24 hours because I have that preferential treatment with them, right? Because I'm bringing them so much business, right? I'm a regular cleaning company. They might go to some property and clean it once a month, twice a month. Right. They clean my property 10, 12 times a month. they know exactly how to do it. They're in and out, right? They have the process
Right,
down.
right, right.
So I'm
Okay.
constantly feeding them,
That's
you know.
smart, man.
So you
Wow.
say, hey, I'm going to give you so much business, and I want to grow with you. I'm going to get more properties, and I'm going to give you a lot of business, but I expect to be treated like with preferential treatment.
Right.
Right.
That's so smart, man. Wow.
Yeah, dude. And then the trick is to like get the cleaners to do as much as they can for you. So for example, like you can have them count your inventory. So inventory is like, for me, I always put out a bottle of wine when my guests get there and a couple of Gatorades and some waters. You know, obviously like toilet paper, paper towels, like all that's inventory, right? So you could have your cleaners once a month check your inventory for you. And then what they can do is they can report that inventory to your maintenance man. He can go and get in any inventory if needed, but you try to make that all systemized, right? But
Wow.
you give the cleaners more and more responsibility, and you say, hey, this is what I expect from you. I expect you to check inventory once a month. I expect if there are any light bulbs out, you can change those, change the air filters, you know, every quarter. Like you can give them responsibility because you're giving them so much business, and you kind of use them as their feet and eyes in the business.
And you just provide the money for them to replace those things, or
So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you could do it, depending on your service. Like a good model is, you know, you have somebody that stocks up on everything, on all the inventory. You have a maid closet where it has, you know, shampoos, Gatorades, whatever, toilet paper, air filters, everything just gets stocked in there. And then the cleaners can be the ones that kind of like change it on a regular basis, even like batteries, because we use digital locks. Of course, you know, we want the guests to come in and out without us being there. So we're using so you want to make sure those batteries are changed like once every couple of months. But the point is, you have somebody that's stocking it up, somebody that's kind of managing it. And yeah, dude.
Wow. That's a lot of information, man.
Yeah, I try to give you as much as I could.
Yo, so like I'm definitely gonna check out that Payfully.co thing.
Yeah, check it out.
Because I have the money to invest 100%. It's just I like to use different things if I don't have to.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just a real big believer in that.
Cool.
So yeah, man. So let me do that. Let me do some more research on this. I definitely want to take your course.
Cool,
so let me get the info on that if you have it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then yeah, dude, I'd love to start. I would love to. This would be.
Yeah, I'll just tell you straight up. It's you know, it's a 997 product. Like I said, we went through everything that's in it. 30 days to return if you're not happy. We do the coaching sessions. You have access to ask me questions and stuff. And we
997. That's it.
Yeah.
Dude, you should make this at least 5,000.
And maybe yeah. I'm trying. I'm building my way up there.
You need to talk to Dale, dude, because he'll tell you, dude. He's like, dude, you need to nut up and shut up and make it 5,000.